You do have to speak kind of loud.
I'll introduce you. And then...
You might, if you need to close the door, the sound won't go out the door.
How smart of you.
I'm useful for some things.
And then I'll give a little bio of what I know about you, things like that.
Yeah.
And,
I always like to
I will
catch
ask you
bloopers.
what your
They always catch bloopers.
verses that you want to study, and then you'll say it, and then I'll ask Mercedes to read it, and then you just go with whatever you want to talk about.
Cool, cool.
No, I'm saying like, are you going to sleep because I'm trying to trap the smell.
You can literally put your feet right here.
Mercedes, I just killed her.
I just killed Mercedes. They don't stink. I also have sinus infections. I really
Did
can't
you
smell.
put your feet in her face?
No, I said I'm sitting on them. I was trying to trap the smell.
So now they're beside me.
I told her it was fine. I mean,
That's
I'm
fine.
trying to hide them, okay?
It's
I went
fine.
and ran. Don't smell bad.
Did you not change your socks?
It's fine.
To what socks?
Do you
I
not
know.
always carry everything in your car?
I have a pair of socks in my car. You don't
You
have a pair of
don't
socks in
anymore?
your car?
No, I don't carry
You
anything
need to
in
carry a
my
pair of
car
socks in your
anymore.
car.
Because, okay, this is the why. When my car got stolen, I lost a lot of things because they threw it out the window.
Alrighty.
I love that story. I literally love that story.
You know, I used to do makeup. Like, I used to get paid to do makeup, and I had just left a client's house, like, the day before, and so all my makeup was in the car. $800 worth, and they threw it out the window.
Well, thank the Lord that you were not in the car. And they
Oh, she was.
She was.
Oh, that's
jumped
right.
in.
That's
She got
right.
run over.
She ran back to the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
But your groceries intact.
Actually, yeah.
Between you and Reagan, y'all have the best stories.
Stories.
Reagan's over here hitting pedestrians.
Troy. I think about Troy all the time. I'm like, poor Troy.
Where are you at
Poor
today?
Troy. I
All
know
right.
how Troy feels.
Let's get started because people are probably wondering what in the world we're doing.
It's okay.
Hi guys, we're running a little late. Sorry, I broke it out. Had to get it fixed. I've been running like a chicken with my head cut off. But hey, we're here and we're live, and we have everybody with us tonight. We're trying to get Jordan involved, and you see how involved she is. She's got us going already. She hasn't stopped since we've been here. Since I've been here.
You don't know me.
Although when I walked in, she was very quiet.
It's been a day.
I know. I've had a day too.
I think we've all had a week.
Been a week.
I think we just all had a week.
Is that what it is?
It's just been a
Yeah.
week.
The one day you have a good day. The one day.
You had a good day?
My day's been
You had a
fine.
good day?
Yeah, my day's been fine.
Did you have a good day
That's
for all of
why.
us?
That's why
I think so.
everybody else's.
All right. Well, tomorrow I'm gonna have a good day. So let's see if you have a bad day.
Why would
Have
you
you ever
say
noticed that?
I'm just saying.
Have you ever noticed that whenever time everybody's good, you're bad, and then when everybody's bad, you're good? I'm like, what is going on here?
Well, alrighty. Tonight, I want to thank you all for joining us in our Bible study. If I can keep the two on the couch quiet through this Bible study, we'll be doing really
Usually it's
good.
me that runs my mouth.
Are we in?
Girl, with them two,
We start cracking jokes.
I don't get a chance. When we're in the car,
We start cracking jokes.
I'm just driving.
Well, at halftime she's laughing. Don't let her lie.
So tonight we are very blessed and honored to have Miss Carissa Stroud with us. Carissa, welcome to a Wow Moment. Thanks for coming and joining us for a Bible study.
It's a party.
Hunter, I was about to call you Hunter. Actually, I think I did call you Hunter. Carissa's engaged to a young man here at the church, and his name is Hunter.
Yeah.
So, Hunter, if you're watching, sorry, Hunter. She doesn't look anything like you. I'm sorry.
Thank
Anyway,
God for that. It'd be a little concerning.
they have been a member here at Witten for almost a year, she says. But, of course, I believe you've grown up in church.
Yeah.
So,
you can say that.
so now you're at Witten.
Yeah.
What an eye-opener it is.
Oh, very much so.
It is. It is. But it's a good eye-opener.
It was a brutal eye opener.
Yeah.
In a good way, but it was brutal. for
Some
a
of
long
it
time.
stings, you know?
Like cuts deep.
Yeah.
In a good way, but like it cuts deep.
Right, because you're thinking you're doing all right.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, you're
They're
not.
like, you're so funny, you're so full of it.
Right. You
I
thought
had some
you.
Alzheimer's maybe. Sorry.
We're having a conversation.
We know.
They're having a conversation.
I know. But anyways, but like, you know, you thought you were doing good. This was the same way. That one, no. But she did grow up in church too. I mean, you went to church when you were younger. But when, it's true, when we all got here,
Until high school ended.
and me, actually, the age that I was when I got here, I was like, I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
Well, there was a brief, well, it was like 4 years where I purposely was doing bad on purpose.
Well,
but
That's in your own testimony. We don't have time for that right
no,
now.
we do not.
Anyway,
We're here all day.
Right, we'd be here all night.
You know, all my stories gotta have. They're just long for whatever reason. I've always wondered that about myself.
She talks all the time.
I don't mean to.
Y'all didn't hear that. We're not gonna repeat that either.
Microphone.
So, anyways, yes, Carissa is her and her fiance became members together, and will be married in
You're on the right path. Just
August?
saying. Yeah.
August. I was gonna say November, but that's Reagan.
Reagan and Austin are November.
That's funny because my first marriage I got married in August, and Scott, my second marriage, I got married in November.
I went and tanned before this. I really shouldn't have. I'm hot. I'm sorry. That was random. It's really hot in here.
I was sweated through.
It's really not hot in here.
I went and laid in a tanning bed for 8 minutes.
So, anyways, we've asked Carissa to pick a verse or scripture or verses or passages. So we've gone from just one verse to where we've gone from one book of the Bible to another book of the Bible because our studies have become very in depth with a lot of different people. And when they want to bring something out or when they feel like the Lord's laid something on their heart, then it can be in one area of the Bible, but then again, it can be somewhere else. So they bring it all to the table. So we're used to hopping around. If that doesn't happen, usually Mercedes has us hopping around anyway. So it's okay. It's all good.
Well, I have a second verse if you want to add it eventually. But
So,
the main one is this one.
So anyway, so tonight, what is the passage or verse that you picked?
Genesis 16, verses 1 through 13.
Verses 1 through 13.
Actually, 1 through 14.
Make sure you... Okay,
Let's do 1 through 14.
let's do that, Mercedes. Make sure to speak loudly, please.
Doing 1 through 14.
1 through 14.
As someone that speaks quietly sometimes. I got you.
I'm going to need you to hush. You're going out in the hall, man.
We're in time out.
You.
Me? I'm so sorry.
What does Jordan do?
I don't know.
She's laughing in my ear. And you're about to read scripture, so I got to concentrate.
Okay.
And my foot's falling asleep. Hold on a minute.
Just move my whole Bible. I'll move it down.
No, I'm moving it back.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're going back.
There.
I'm ready.
Okay, ready.
Okay.
Is that Sarah or Sarah? Sarah.
All right. Abraham's wife Sarah was not born had not born any children for him, but she owned an Egyptian slave named Hagar. Sarah said to Abram, "Since the Lord has prevented me from bearing children, go to my slave. Perhaps through her I can build a family." And Abram agreed to what Sarah said. So Abram's wife Sarah took Hagar, her Egyptian slave, and gave her to her husband Abram as a wife for him. This happened after Abram had lived in the land of Canaan 10 years. He slept with Hagar, and she became pregnant. When she realized she was pregnant, she treated her mistress with contempt. Then Sarah said to Abram, "You are responsible for my suffering. I put my slave in your arms, and ever since she saw that she was pregnant, she has treated me with contempt. May the Lord judge between me and you." Abram replied to Sarah, "Here, your slave is in your hands. Do whatever you want with her." Then Sarah mistreated her so much that she ran away from her. The angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, the spring on the way to Shur. He said, "Hagar, slave of Sarah, where have you come from and where are you going?" She replied, "I'm running away from my mistress Sarah." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "You must go back to your mistress and submit to her mistreatment." The angel of the Lord also said to her, "I will greatly multiply your offspring, and they will be too many to count." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "You have conceived and will have a son. You will name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your cry of affliction. This man will be like a wild donkey. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand will be against him. He will live at odds with all his brothers." So she called the Lord who spoke to her, the God who sees, for she said, "In this place I have actually seen the one who sees me. Have I actually seen the one who sees me?" That is why she named the spring a well of the living one who sees me. It is located between Kadesh and Bered.
So, why did you pick this?
Well, I was reading it through, and like we've all heard the story of Sarah, Hagar, Abram, and the whole situation that happened. But when I was reading through it this time, I kind of looked at it from Hagar's perspective, and as she's this woman, and so then I was like, okay, well, I need some context. So we know the covenant that was made. God said, "I'm gonna give you children. You just have to be patient with me." And so I was like, okay, so this whole thing happened. And I was like, Hagar was her slave at this time, but back then they were like family.
Yeah.
I mean, this was her family. She wasn't maybe their kid or whatever, but she was considered to be part of their family. And I was like, okay, well, this is her family. She looks at them with love, and she serves them and she does what she can for them, but she loves them. And so as I continued reading, I was 10 years. She had to be there for 10 years with these people. That's a long time to be with somebody. And so then you go through so much with them. You see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I was like, okay, 10 years, like that's a long time. And I was like, so if she was with them for 10 years, that means she probably knew that what the covenant that God, gave Abram. She had to have known. Because you think people talk, especially, if this is her, this is Sarah's, main servant, this is probably like her confidant. The person
So you're thinking that let's just paint the picture kind of. You're thinking that Abram went to Sarah, was telling her, well, God's told me this, and this, and so Sarah went to Hagar.
Sarah maybe told Hagar, or Hagar overheard.
Because they're like...
Because they're family, they're close, they live,
like this, right.
10 years. So
Yeah.
she probably knew the covenant that was made. And so, Sarah, being as faithless as she was like, I don't trust that, so you can take Hagar. Well, in Hagar's mind, she still knew. She knew, okay, well, you made this promise with God. Like, our God made this promise to you. But yet, because she loved them, and she was their servant, she did it anyways. And, for myself, I look back in my life, and I was like, I maybe didn't know what God had planned for me, but I knew God had a plan. But the people that I loved wanted me to do something else. And so I stepped out of that, the path that I was supposed to be on, because I wanted to please the people that loved me. And I wanted their love back. And so in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, well, if I do what they ask me to do, they're going to love me and they're going to be grateful to me. And I'm going to get the praise and the love that I so desperately want.
Mm-hmm.
And so my brain, I'm kind of thinking, I look back at my life, and I was Hagar in that situation. But then it continues on. She did what happened to her. She got pregnant is what Sarah wanted. And then Sarah hated her. And it's like, how many times in our life do we do things for other people because they've asked us to do it? And we do it out of love. And we think, yeah, God's way is better. And, He made this promise to us. But this is what you want me to do, so I'm going to do it. And then we get blamed for it when it doesn't go how we want it to.
When does it go the way that they expect you?
Or yeah,
they expected it to go.
Yeah, and so then they're like, "Well, this is your fault."
Because you did it.
Yeah, and Hagar did it. She did what she did what she's asked, and Sarah's like, "I hate you now. Like, you slept with my husband, and now you have a baby with my husband." And she wanted that. She wanted to have the baby with him, and that was her husband. So there's probably jealousy there, not just because of the baby, because she slept with her husband, and so she hated her.
Were you about to say something?
I was in agreement with what you just said.
And so,
So you felt like that he was kind of, although it doesn't say it, but with her being pregnant, he probably did
probably enjoy it a little bit if that doesn't get too big. But I mean, something has to happen there.
You know, he probably tried to take care of her more. So, you know what I'm saying? Like more attention, more. Yeah.
And there's probably many times when people have read it and they see Hagar as the bad person, when in reality she did not have a choice being a slave.
Right. I mean, what's the slave going to do? Say, no, I'm not going to do that?
Yeah.
So there's probably like a lot of people that have always looked at her and been bitter about it when reading this, because, you know, sometimes people, we've been talking about this in sermons, where the accounts that are written in the Bible have been taken as like stories.
Right.
So people are always portrayed in ways that they are not.
Yeah.
And I always remembered Hagar being portrayed as like
the good guy and the bad guy. Sarah was
like
the good guy. She was heartbroken. Hagar was the bad guy because she got pregnant
the mistress.
from a woman's husband.
Poor Sarah.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's
Actually,
Sarah is
the other way around.
just bitter and jealous, and Hagar is stuck in an awkward situation.
Well,
where
you know,
she's
just
placed.
it's just like Carissa said, though. I mean, you know, you have family.
What do you think, like family, like people in your life that you know, you consider family, not your family, but people you consider to be close with,
or family.
Yeah.
And you know, you want to make them happy. You want to please them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, my daddy always used to say, if all your friends jump off the bridge, you're gonna jump off the bridge too.
I think you've said it to me
You
a
know
couple
what I
times.
used to say to that? If I had a rope.
I think I have said that to you
the
before.
bad thing was,
What did you say?
I said my mom would say that to me, and I'd just say, yeah, if I had a bungee cord.
Oh my gosh.
Vicky,
The bad thing was I was the one that went first.
Vicky asked me that question because I told her I was speeding because everyone else was speeding, and she's like, so if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge with them? It's like, well, how high is the bridge?
Well,
How
you're
deep
the
is the water?
You're the one that got the ticket.
Yeah, I got the ticket.
Usually I'm the leader.
In case you guys were wondering, the women and women were talking about the girl getting the ticket. That was me. That was me.
I did tell that story.
You did tell that
you
story.
did.
You're like, I was having dinner with somebody, and I was like, oh, Vicky just called me out.
Sure it is.
She does that. She
That's
always
okay.
throws people under
It's
the
okay.
bus multiple times in a row.
Oh, I did do that. I forgot who we were doing around with.
I think that's with Jeremiah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it was used. But anyways, so, and then you continue reading on, and she did what any human being would do. She ran from her situation.
Oh, God.
I think I would.
I don't think I would ever do that.
I mean, who knew? Facing our problems? What is that?
Why even bother?
Why?
Like,
I mean,
do
right?
that?
Why?
Just ignore it. So much easier.
This is
but-
not something you can ignore, though.
No. 9 months you're gonna be stuck like this, and then 18 years after that, even longer actually. But anyways,
In this year.
so and then the next few verses are like where kind of God was like, Carissa, read this, and it says the angel of the Lord found her. That is, at least in my Bible, it's in all capitals.
Yeah, it's a Christophany.
So, like, when I see all capitals, I think Yahweh.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, Yahweh went down into the wilderness to find this woman. This unmarried, pregnant woman in the middle of the wilderness, Yahweh came down into the wilderness. And side note, I didn't even know that the capitals meant Yahweh until I started coming here. And so now, anytime I see it, I get excited.
Yeah.
I get so excited to read it because it's like, oh my gosh, this is like God himself. And so I was reading that and I was like, how many times we put ourselves in this wilderness? And like I was reading this, I'm like, you know, I'm imagining this pregnant, battered, broken woman just sitting in the dirt by herself alone crying. That's how, like, I mean, I don't know if that's how it happened, but like that's kind of how I picture it in my brain. And it's like, how many times do we send ourselves out into the wilderness alone, just by ourselves in misery, because it's easier for us to do it that way. It's easier for us to just run away and hide. And then,
We think.
well, we think. That's not how it works, and it sucks like that, but I mean, that's what we think. And then God himself comes down, and it's like, hey, I'm here. And like that's also like what I love about like our God is he's so personal. Like, I was listening to a podcast the other day. This is totally off topic. But they were talking about Buddhism. And they were talking about how, like, Buddhists save up their entire lives to go to this mountain and pray to their God because they can only do it, because it's so expensive, they can only do it once in their lifetime. And it's like, I can be in my car driving and I can talk to my God.
Anytime, anywhere.
I mean, I could do anything I want. And then these people spend their entire savings to go pray to their God once in their life? Like,
Well, you know, there are so many different. What's the word I'm looking for? That calls the call is money.
What's that one? It's like Christianity, but it's basically only money.
if it's any church
It's the one-
nowadays. I mean, you can go to any church and that's their main topic. How much money are you going to give this week?
The one
Just
that's
took so
like,
much.
Right.
you're gonna be healed, just.
Oh, there's a lot of
What
those.
is
You
that
got
one
Kenneth
that-
Copeland. Is
I
it-
know, the Joel. What is that church?
The
I don't
Joel.
wanna say his
Joel.
name out loud. What if he's like
I don't-
copyright?
I don't know.
I feel like you can
It's
copyright
like
someone's
Church
name.
of something, like,
I don't have a clue.
I don't remember what it's, but.
You know, like you were talking about, you pictured her broken and battered and just down in the dumps. You know, like that's basically that at that time. That's when God reaches out.
Mm-hmm.
When we are the most broken, the most battered, the most bruised. You know, because that's when we're most vulnerable, and that's when we actually, when that help happens, we then start seeking it.
Yeah.
Well, that, and if we waited till the perfect moment
There
when
would
we're
be
not
there would never
broken,
be.
there would never be
No,
a
because
moment.
you're
There's
fine.
always
Everything's okay. You don't
Yeah.
feel like you need anything at that point.
well that, and I guess like for me, I don't know, maybe my life's just always falling apart. But like I would be waiting. It's that band. I would be waiting forever because like there's never a perfect moment.
Well,
like
and
there's never a time where I'm just going, okay, everything's together. Like I don't have to wait on something else.
It's like, now I can talk to
Well,
God. Now we can
yeah,
get this right.
Well, and before our conversion, Scripture says there's no one seeks Him, not one.
Yeah.
No.
He seeks
He seeks us out.
Well,
we
When
only-
are broken.
That's
and
my
battered.
second
only
verse,
love.
Isaiah 65.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, he comes after you. I mean, and that's why all of you young ladies, so many of y'all have come to me and you say things like, not you. You're one of the few that didn't come to me and say, why did this happen to me?
I think that's a good thing.
Right. We just talked about.
It
we
was
just,
me. She's talking about.
You're
real honest, dear.
I didn't throw anybody under the bus that time. But, the thing is that what you have to do is, and most people ask that because they don't know that their testimony is being written at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a testimony to give on what the Lord's done for you, then what are you going to share with people?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if He's not actually worked in your life in some way, shape, form, or fashion, then how are you going to share Him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then a lot of people think their testimony stops at salvation.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's where it really starts getting good.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody last night, everything that you go through, literally everything as a Christian that you go through, is part of your testimony.
Mm-hmm.
And that testimony is there to help other people through their crap,
There's a verse in Ephesians 2, and it's like you are being built in Christ.
Yeah.
And like I have that verse underlined in my Bible so many times. I have the word being because it's present tense. It's
Yeah.
not you've been or you will be. It's you're being.
Yeah.
And I took that because that's my favorite verse in the entire Bible.
That's
Because
my
like
favorite book.
it really is such a good book. But like the moments where I feel like I can't be used, like I just can't be used. And it's like I'm being built. Like my story isn't over. Like every day, like you said, my testimony is continuing.
Yeah.
Every day.
I mean, I'm a lot older than all of y'all, and mine's still going from day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it has to do with working with young women like y'all because,
Sorry. And she's saying we're screwed up a little bit.
well, no, because it actually helps me because I mess up. I mean, every day I mess up. There's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't mess up somehow in some way.
An hour.
And yeah, well, I may go an hour because I am asleep, but
I'm totally tired.
but I mean, it happens, and it's gonna happen. And the thing is that instead of running into the wilderness, it's best just to hit your knees and say, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do? Show me the way. And I'll tell you, if you ever pick up this book to study it, back before I was so busy all the time, I had a whole lot of time, and I did a lot of studying. And I always made sure that before I opened my Bible that I prayed. Because I didn't have a clue of what I needed to study. Not a clue. But I asked the Lord to just, that was nice. I asked the Lord just to show me, Lord, what do I need? What are you trying to teach me? What do I need to learn? What are you trying to put in me? What do I need to share with somebody? Yeah. Something. And it normally, it was like spot on.
Yeah. Spot on.
So, but you have to be open.
Yeah.
You have to be open. And you can't be, you can't have your mind focused on something that you're wanting to do. You have to be completely free. And
Jeremiah sent me this song this morning because we were having a conversation last night about some things I've been dealing with, and it was called "Make Room" because you said be open, and like I listened to it, and I was like, I want this to be my prayer. Like every day, I want this to be my prayer because it was like, God, make room in me and use me, and I was like, because I know recently I've just been struggling with like myself and like not feeling like I'm doing enough, and I kind of like for a minute I'm like, God, you're not giving me opportunity to use, and I'm like, okay, Carissa, you need to chill out here. Like you need to realize you're the one. You're not doing your part, and until you do your part, you can't be used.
And He'll give you the strength.
Yeah.
It's cool reading in chapter 17. Even though Abram and Sarah decided they were gonna try to speed the process along. God still remained faithful in His covenant with them. He established it between them, saying that I will multiply you greatly. I will make you a father of many nations. You will be fruitful. Like, even though sometimes we decide we're going to do things our way because God's not quite fast enough, instant gratification.
Wow, really?
He still holds true to His word, even though you decided to do things your own way. You're just going to have to wait.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think sometimes God makes us wait longer.
Oh.
Because He's like, kind of like trying to prove to us that He will be faithful in His own time. But it's also trying to like teach us patience at the same time, like, and let us grow in that faith that we're supposed to have and that we do have as Christians. Because if we're like, God, I'm on a clock, like, are you really showing faith then? Are you really showing patience then? Because I don't feel like you are.
I didn't for 17 years.
And that's me preaching to myself because I'm bad about that.
I didn't for 17 years. I was like, I'm just done with this. I'm just fed up. And finally, I finally just said, here it is.
When you get done kicking and screaming and say, you know what, God, not my will, but your will, all of a sudden things start falling into place.
Right?
Done that a couple times.
You think?
Been there.
But going back on like strength, like talking about having strength.
Speak up.
Okay, I will. Going back, I'm talking about strength. I guess so. Today I didn't have like the best of day. I had a friend that I've known for quite a long time pass away. He was very young, and I've had a lot of friends. I've had 10 friends since I've graduated pass away. And today I was talking with someone, and we were talking about it, and usually when I grieve, I don't allow myself to grieve. What I do is basically distract myself so I do not have to feel that pain. And he told me, strength is not how you handle the situation, but you continuing to move forward through the situation. So even though it may take you longer or you don't move as quick as you think you are, but the fact that you are moving forward in the situation instead of staying still or hiding or whatever else, that is what makes you stronger. That is what gives you
And that's
strength.
what Hagar had to do. She had to go back to them and just...
And he even said, like, you have to go back, and what does it say? Oh my gosh.
And with and
return and
submit to
under her
mistreatment.
hand. Yeah, like submit to mistreatment. Like,
yeah.
sometimes we have to go back to the situation we're running from, even though it's a painful situation. Like, there have been multiple times in my life where I ran because it was easier to run, and then my sin found me out when I ran.
That's my whole life.
It tends to follow me
Like,
sometimes.
I mean, it's like
Like
I'm
my whole
running
life.
I'm running as
Right
fast as I can away from this sin, and God says, "You're so funny if you think that's not going to catch up to you."
That's my whole
And then it's
life.
like, okay, now I have to go back and deal with it, even though that situation is going to be hard and it's going to hurt. But then I came out of it on the other side, and that's when I came here. Like, I literally hit rock bottom when I came here. Like, my sin was all over everywhere.
Girl, everybody hits rock bottom when they come here.
I mean,
Man.
They at the bottom of the food chain when they come here.
and so, you know, I think it's not always, and I think it's where strength comes into play, because sometimes we have to say, God, give me strength to go back. Not just give me strength to do your will, but also give me strength to go back to the situation that I came from, because I don't want to go back.
Handle it head on.
And handle it,
Make
yeah.
it right.
And
Apologizing.
get good at that.
Having to go
She's
back.
had to.
Oh my gosh.
She's had to.
And I'm talking about
Yes.
something that happened when I came here. I had to, one of my things that I had to do as a goal was apologize to 3 people.
That she had done wrong.
And these are not like 3 people that I still talk to.
Yeah.
These are 3 people. One of them hadn't talked to in a year and a half. The other one hadn't talked to.
You told me about this.
Mhm.
On the way to Aisha's wedding. we
And
were
the
talking
other
about
one I
this.
hadn't talked to in like another one, or a little less than a year. No, it was right at a year. And then someone I hadn't talked to, it was like a couple months. And I had to apologize to all 3 of them. I didn't have to. I mean, clearly, like, if I wanted to, I could have just ignored the situation and kept
You
going.
could have ran.
Yeah, I could have ran, but I
You could've
didn't.
run.
And the one, I knew when one of the person, like, people were not going to respond, and she was one of the people I, like, desperately wanted to answer, but she didn't, and I still have yet to talk to her, but that's a different story.
You put it out there.
I put it out there. One of them I actually got to witness to. Well, really both of them I got to witness to, but one of them actually thanked me and was like, you know, I've honestly beat myself up about it for so long, and and basically they were saying, I know I did you wrong, but it also feels good for you to, you know, at least apologize to me and to know that you have accepted my apology and forgiven me.
I had a friend like that when a whole bunch of stuff happened, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I was in the wrong, and he called me and just went off on me and was like, I can never forgive you, like, we can't be friends anymore, I can't associate myself with you. And I became so angry because I was like, I didn't want to admit that I was in the wrong first, and that I caused, I mean, his reaction wasn't okay, but I had to remember that my hurt, like, that what I did hurt him, and so he responded the way he did. And so I was so angry. I was like, you call yourself a Christian, you can't forgive me? I was like, I'm a Christian. I got a big head at this time. And I had to go, and he came, it was a whole thing, but then I had to go to him, and I had to be like, I'm sorry. And I had to, like, genuinely, because for so long I was just so bitter and angry with him, because we had grown up together, we were best friends, and he had talked to me the way he did, and I was like, I had to go back and say, I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sorry that I lied to you. I'm sorry that I continue to lie to you. And in the end, I also got the apology. Like, I got an apology back of saying, I'm sorry I reacted the way I did.
And that was kind of my situation, was I apologized to someone that did me wrong, but I apologized for how I reacted to what was happening to me. Because even though they had done me wrong, I had reacted terribly. And I had reacted in a way that was, like, unacceptable, and just because they had done me wrong and I had every right to be mad does not give me the right to treat someone awfully. So that was, like, really hard, but the freedom and the relief that I got from it was overwhelming. I mean, I still wish that one person would, but I pray about that every single day. But grace.
Well, and you never know. You never know.
No.
You don't know what will come about it.
I have learned that, and you just never know what God has in store for you.
Man.
What you think is never going to happen is what always happens.
Oh, Mercedes can speak hours about that.
Woo.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has lots of
Mm-hmm.
stories to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't.
Not tonight, though. Sorry.
And you don't see those things in the midst of it. You see
Yeah,
it
I
after
know.
it's over, and you
Yeah.
go, "Oh,
Yes.
Now I
to
see
go
why
through
that-
this for this to happen."
And then
Yeah.
when you're going through it, you're like, this is crap.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
can this be over with? And then afterwards, you're like, oh, thank goodness I went through all that. That was so
Yeah.
worth it. And that's like something I've been struggling with recently is it's kind of the same thing. Being in college is like hard, especially when you feel like you've been staying still since you've graduated high school. Like, I feel like I have not progressed or done any kind of life goals or anything since I've graduated. I'm still in school. I've just maintained the same life for so many years, and I see so many people around me that have, you know, stepped up and done things, created careers, created lives, and I'm like, well, I got a dog.
But that's not where you're supposed to be
No,
right now.
and this is where I am supposed to be. I'm supposed to be patient. I'm supposed to be waiting for what is in store for me, and in the end, I will understand why I had to wait and wait and wait and wait. And
Because who
I have
knows,
to-
you might meet your husband, which might be a future doctor or something.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I mean, gotta maintain my habits.
Right.
You know, I got expensive hobbies.
I know.
She's bougie.
Girl,
Just
I
a little
know.
bit. I try not to be. I at least maintain my own. I don't expect other people.
Well,
to do
you
it.
just need to.
But I'm not even worried about that part. But it's like my cousin's getting. She's buying her first house. Like
Okay, and?
well, because that's something like I want is
Okay,
my own house. I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about my
I'm
struggle.
about to put her in the hallway.
Hey, for what?
Girl, because.
But then I remind myself of all the things that I have been received
She's
and
learning.
given, and
She's still-
how they were worth the wait.
We all are.
Girl, I just became a Christian in October. We gotta remember this.
That's right. That's right, I forgot. Well, let me tell you. I took down some notes. I never looked at it as their slaves were like their family.
Yeah.
I never
Well,
looked
see,
at it like
I didn't
that.
learn
never...
that until I came here. Because back then, I mean, and I could be wrong, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. I'm okay with being corrected. It does not bother me as much as it used to. But, I learned, like, you know, that there were some slaves that were not, they were not considered family. But a lot of them, they were, like, they lived in the house with them, they ate dinner with them. And so,
Right.
like, when I looked at it, I think she probably was that kind of slave. I mean, she was her handmaid. Like, she probably ate with her and talked with her. Like, this is probably, like, one of her best friends.
Well, one of the things that I got out of this that I think that a lot of people will agree with me is that the people that you love will sometimes make you step out of God's will.
Sometimes.
Well, what?
They don't always.
The people you love will sometimes
Make
make
you
you step
step out of
outside of
God.
God's will.
God's will.
I got that, but I also got, and then when we
But-
step out of God's will, God comes to us.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And he does. I mean, sometimes we have to go to him, but a lot of times he comes to us. He reaches out to us and says, "Hey, you know what you did was stupid, but I still love you, and let's go back and try this again. Let's do it the right way." And like that is just like that's amazing to me.
That's everyday life.
He is with you till the end of the age.
I heard a statement, or I read a statement the other day, and it's like it's not a perfect life; it's a redeemed life. I loved that. I loved that because I was like, it made. Sometimes I feel like my sin just kind of like drowns me, and it's like, man, like I'm a Christian, I'm supposed to be living perfectly, and then I'm like, it's not perfect, like it's routine
Well,
life.
like then why would God or Jesus have had to die on the cross
Yeah.
if it was supposed to be a perfect life? Then it would have been like a pointless death, and he would not have had to die. Like, and then it wouldn't be as meaningful.
Yeah.
Like that's why it means so much, is because the amount of grace we have been given.
You're one to talk about grace, right?
Y'all know I struggle with grace. Grace with myself, grace with other people. I've gotten better with other people, but myself is.
Yeah. I said that to someone the other day, and I was like, if God can forgive, I was literally saying this to someone last night, if God can forgive someone, a nobody, totally depraved, disgusting human being, why can't you forgive yourself?
Right.
And like that's something that I have to preach to myself, because there are a lot of times I can't forgive myself, and I'm like, but God forgave me, so why am I holding on to this? Why can't I let this go?
Yeah.
Because you want to take yourself through the trenches. What was the other scripture you were talking about?
Oh, Isaiah 65, 1 through 5. I turned there. I'm not gonna read it though, but I turned there. I just like it.
Isaiah
65 verses 1 through 5.
You want Mercedes to read it?
I'm gonna shake. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I just wrote it down because it kind of went along with like God reaching out to us. Maybe
Well, Mercedes, read that and then we'll close up.
I was sought by those who did not ask. I was found by those who did not seek me. I said, here I am, to a nation that was not called by my name. I spread out my hands all day long to a rebellious people who walk in the wrong path, following their own thoughts. These people continually provoke me to my face, sacrificing in gardens, burning incense on bricks, sitting among the graves, spending nights in secret places, eating the meat of pigs, and putting polluted broth in their bowls. They say, keep to yourself, do not come near me, for I am too holy for you. These practices are smoke in my nostrils, a fire that burns all day long.
Well, daggone.
and yet He still reaches out to us.
Well, that just kind of hits it right in the nutshell there, Carissa.
I mean, we had to go out with a bang. I don't do it any other way.
Right, this is true. This is true.
That was a truth shovel.
Well,
shovel to the face, slow motion.
shovel to the face. That's Mercedes.
Yeah.
Shovel to the face.
My favorite person, I'm just going to say this and then I promise we can be done. But it's like, do not come near me, for I'm holier than thou. I feel like that's a big thing with Christians. It's like, well, my sin's not as bad as theirs.
Yeah, what you said.
My sin's not, at least I'm not doing that.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, but in God's eyes, it's all the same.
Right.
Like, you telling your mom a lie is just the same as the guy who killed 5 people. So, your sin is just as bad as theirs.
So many people look at it that they are holier than thou.
Yeah.
And I'm no better than you. I'm just older. That's all.
You got a little more wisdom.
Sometimes I wonder.
Please.
Sometimes I wonder. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm sorry that I was running late.
It's okay. Getting your nose done are important.
Girl,
Mine are a little janky right now.
it was just not a good.
Yours are black.
Because I silk screen at work, so
I just type
I
all
had
day.
She
paint.
finger paints.
Yeah. I finger paint at work, so then the paint gets stuck on my
That's
fingers.
nice.
Yeah. I get to do smiley faces. And stars.
Thanks for joining us tonight, y'all. Now that we know that what she does for work.
Finger paint.
Man, Josiah, why are you paying her to finger paint?
Right. I was about to ask the same thing. Do you know what she's doing at work? Check on her tomorrow. But anyways, I really appreciate y'all coming and joining us tonight. I hope that this was maybe a word that you needed to hear. Of course, we all need to hear it. The music downstairs is just phenomenal.
Amazing.
I'm
It
funny.
sounds really good.
I know.
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it sounds really good.
Yeah, isn't that David Skelton in them?
I don't know if that's them or not. They're
I
usually
think
up here
so.
on Wednesdays, but I thought they
This
were.
is
It's
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, so we can just go
Y'all
tell,
need him,
tell David that what I knew at work.
Yeah. We just go there until the big boss wishes she doesn't work. But anyways, thanks you guys. I appreciate you coming tonight. Thanks for sitting in with us. Next week we have
Josiah?
Josiah.
Pastor
Pastor Josiah
Josiah.
will be here next week. He hasn't been on in a while.
Man, I'm glad I didn't go after him. He's a tough act to follow.
He's a card.
I'd be a little intimidated on that one.
He is too much. But I love him. I love you.
Bye, guys. We're gonna sit here now.
Well, we're waiting on Mercedes.
get up.
We're all old.
Oh,
Takes us
wait a
long.
minute. Now she's
I
leaving.
got plantar fasciitis in my
Good
left
night,
foot,
y'all.
guys.
Good night.